An Israeli military honor guard welcomed the President and Mrs. Bush to Tel Aviv. President Bush is here to help celebrate Israel's 60th anniversary and hopes to encourage faltering talks on the creation of a separate Palestinian state. Meeting with President Bush in Jerusalem, Israeli President Shimon Peres said some of the obstacles to peace may soon fade.
I think before you will leave office, you'll see a change of guards here in the Middle East.
Yes.
What looks today so gloomy, maybe the last effort by some very extremist group to remain alive.
President Peres sees the decline of the militant groups Hezbollah, which is battling for control of neighboring Lebanon, and Hamas, which controls the Gaza Strip since forcing out its Fatah rival last year. Nathan Brown directs Middle East studies at George Washington University. He says Hamas's win in democratic elections complicates the peace process.
The dead end of the peace process left Palestinians feeling that there was going to be no penalty in voting for Hamas because it wasn't as if they were getting anything from Fatah. Whatever the case, you've got now what in many Palestinian eyes is a legitimately elected Palestinian government, and there is no easy way around that.
President Bush is still optimistic that the outline of a Palestinian state can be concluded before he leaves office in January. He says a separate state would give Palestinians a choice between more violence under Hamas and a more stable future under Fatah.
We will continue to work toward a vision of where people who are just reasonable and want a chance to live at peace with Israel have that opportunity, and at the same time speak clearly about those forces of terror who murder innocent people to achieve their political objectives and how the world must stand against them.
Professor Brown says the divided government weakens Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas.
There simply isn't a unified, viable Palestinian leadership. So how do you make a deal if there's nobody who can really sign on the other side, sign on the dotted line, delivering the Palestinian side?
Progress toward a two-state solution is also slowed by the political weakness of Israeli Prime Minister Ehud Olmert, who's blamed for the war in Lebanon 2 years ago and is currently under investigation for political corruption. The Prime Minister denies the allegations and says he'll resign if indicted. Mr. Bush will meet separately with President Abbas during a trip that White House officials say is not expected to yield any major breakthroughs. Scott Stearns, VOA News, Jerusalem.
Viable state, a state that doesn't look like Swiss cheese, a state that provides hope.